Hello, everyone. Okay, so we have talked about a lot of different angles. Today, we're going to go back and we're going to talk about identifying those angle types, not by their angle measure, but their location on the parallel lines and transversal, and we'll label those as well. You do not need to take notes today, but there will be some problems that you guys will need to solve at the end. So just remember to be paying attention during these because this will help you solve those problems on Edpuzzle at the end. All right, let's get started. Okay, we're going to start with vertical angles. So a couple things. This will look the same on almost every slide. I have all of these angles numbered. So when I ask you to identify, you will be giving me the angle number, okay? So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4 around your first point of intersection, and 5, 6, 7, and 8 around the second point of intersection. And here's your transversal and your parallel lines, okay? Again, you will need to be able to identify vertical angles later in the video, so be paying attention. Key points about vertical angles. They are directly across from each other. So at those point of intersection, for example, 3 and 2, directly across from each other. 1 and 4, 6 and 7, 5 and 8. They're directly across from each other, okay? And they are congruent angles, so the measure of vertical angles are equal to each other. For example, if angle 1 is 85 degrees, angle 4 is going to be 85 degrees. They are the same. They are congruent. Okay, angle 4. We've talked about this. Which angle number is the vertical angle to angle number 4? This one right here that is now shaded. It is angle number 1. We know that because at this point of intersection, here is angle 4, and angle 1 is directly across from angle 4. They touch right here at this point of intersection, directly across from one another, okay? Here we go, angle 1. Corresponding angles, you will need to be able to identify later, so don't forget to be paying attention. Key points, they are on the same side of the transversal. When I say same side of the transversal, I mean, here's my transversal, this line right here, it intersects both parallel lines. That means they are both on the same side, so they are either both to the left or both to the right. They are at the same corner at point of intersection. We've talked about this. There are 4 corners you can be at each point of intersection. There's the upper left, upper right, lower left, and lower right. So that means at both points of intersection, they will be at the same corner, okay? And they are congruent again. We talked about this with vertical as well. That means they have the same angle measure. So I have shaded here angle number 8. I want you to be able to find the corresponding angle for angle number 8. So number 1, we need to know they're on the same side of the transversal. So it needs to be to the right. So it cannot be angle 1, 3, 5, or 7 because those are all on the left. So we don't even need to look at them. We know that this angle is on the right, so we're only looking at the right. Same corner at point of intersection. So we already have an angle at this point of intersection, so it can't be number 6 either, so it's 2 or 4. And the reason I know that number 8, we know it is in the bottom right corner at this point of intersection. So number 2 is at the top right corner at the point of intersection. Number 4 is at the bottom right. So which one is our corresponding angle to angle number 8? It is number 4 because it is at the bottom right at this point of intersection, the exact same spot. If you put this point of intersection on top, those would be in the same spot, right? So they're on the same side of the transversal, they're to the right, and in the same corner. They're in the bottom right. Okay, now let's look at alternate interior angles. You will need to be able to identify these angles later in the video, so make sure you're paying attention. Okay, key points about alternate interior. They are on opposite sides of the transversal. So here is my transversal. So one angle will be on the right of the transversal, so that could be 1, 3, 5, or 7. One angle will be on the left of the transversal, so that could be 1, 3, 5, or 7, and one will be on the right, and that's 2, 4, 6, and 8. So they have to be on opposite sides of the transversal. And they are in between our parallel lines. So remember, here's our parallel lines, and it needs to be inside of those parallel lines. That means they are inside of the sandwich. We also know that they are congruent angles, so they need to be the same. They have the same angle measure. So I have angle number 3 highlighted here. let's find the alternate interior angle that goes with angle number 3. It has to be on the opposite side of the transversal. So it cannot be 5, it needs to be 4 or 6. Because here's our transversal, and this angle is on the left side of the transversal, so we need an angle on the right of the transversal. So that could be 4 or 6, because 4 or 6 are in between our parallel lines, right? So it can't be 2 or 8 on the right side, because those are outside of our parallel lines. They're outside of the sandwich. We need 2 angles that are inside of those 2 parallel lines. Another thing, 4 cannot be our alternate interior, because this is a straight line, right? So if I add 3 and 4, that gives me 180. So that tells me that those 2 angles are not congruent to each other. So if it is not 4, it has to be angle number 6. Okay, alternate exterior is very similar. Remember, you need to be able to identify, so pay attention. Opposite sides of the transversal. So one will be on the left, another will be on the right. This time they are outside of our parallel lines. So we just talked about interior, they're inside of those 2 parallel lines. Exterior is outside of the parallel lines. And also they are congruent angles. So one angle measure will equal the other angle measure. So I have angle number 7 highlighted here with the orange. I need to find the alternate exterior angle that goes with that angle. So this angle is on which side of the transversal? It is on the left side of the transversal. Is this angle inside or outside of my parallel lines? It is outside of my parallel lines. So here's my transversal. It is to the left. And here's my parallel lines. It's not inside, so it has to be outside. Now I want to find the alternate exterior angle that goes with this. So I need an angle on the right side, but it needs to be outside of my parallel lines. So it needs to be 2 or 8. And we said it cannot be 8 because those 2 angles add up to 180 because it is on a straight line. So it has to be angle number 2. So those 2, they are on opposite sides of my transversal and outside of the parallel lines. We could see another alternate exterior angle with 1 and 8. They are outside of the parallel lines, and those 2 angles are on opposite sides of the transversal. Another way to think of it is that you have one of them for alternate exterior and interior. 1 is at touches each point of intersection. So 1 also and 8. And then we have 7 and 2. They're at each point of intersection. Same side interior angles. Okay, key points. Also, keep watching. You need to know this for the end of the video. They are on the same side of the transversal. So this is a little bit different than the ones we've seen before. So same side of the transversal, it's kind of like corresponding. They both need to be on the left with 1, 3, 5, or 7, or both need to be on the right with 2, 4, 6, and 8. They are also inside of our parallel lines. So that word interior tells us that they're going to be inside of the parallel lines. Interior, inside of the sandwich. Now these angles are not congruent. They add up to 180 degrees, which makes them supplementary angles. So I have angle number 5. We need to find the same side interior angle that goes with that angle. It needs to be on the same side of the transversal. So which side of the transversal is angle number 5 on? It is on the left. Is angle number 5 inside of our parallel lines? Yes, it is. Which other angle is also on the left side of the transversal? So one of these, and in between the parallel lines. Angle number 3 is also on the left side of the transversal and in between those parallel lines. That means it is my same side interior angle. And those 2 angle measures will add up to 180 degrees. Now let's do same side exterior. Remember, you need to be able to identify these later in the video, so make sure you're paying attention. They're on the same side of the transversal, so they both need to be on the left or they both need to be on the right. They're outside of the parallel line, so we just did same side interior. Same thing, they're on the same side of the transversal, but those are inside of the parallel lines. Now we're doing same side exterior. So here's our parallel lines, and it needs to be outside of those parallel lines, exterior of the parallel lines, or outside of the sandwich. And these angles also add up to 180 degrees, which makes them supplementary again. So I have this purple angle covering angle 2. I need to find the angle that is the same side exterior angle that goes with angle number 2. So here's my angle. What side of the transversal is this angle on? It is on the right side of the transversal. So now I need to look at the angle measures I have left. But these angles have to be outside of the parallel lines. So between 4, 6, and 8, which angle is outside of the parallel line while being on the right side of the transversal? Angle number 8. And these two angles will add up to 180 degrees. Okay, now we're going to do problems over identifying angles. The next couple slides, I'm going to have 6 problems where I give you an angle measure just like we've been doing, and you need to tell me which angle number is going to be the either vertical corresponding alternate interior, alternate exterior, same side interior, same side exterior angle that goes with that angle. There will be a question on the slide, and I will also have it on Edpuzzle for you guys. So make sure you're going through and telling me which angle number goes with that angle type, okay? Okay, you guys have completed all of the problems for this, so you guys are good for this Edpuzzle today. Have a great day, guys.